So what are the type of problems that we routinely see? So children may or may not have had a formal diagnosis, and it could be something like dyslexia, developmental coordination disorder, which used to be known as dyspraxia, attention deficit disorder, and the milder end of the autistic spectrum. Or they may not have had a diagnosis at all. They may simply be underachieving, and parents know that they could be doing better, they just don't understand why they're not. So there are 5 easy stages really to how to access an INPP programme. The first is to contact a practitioner, and they will usually send out a screening questionnaire which covers early developmental history, presenting symptoms and so on. And if your child scores more than 7 yes answers over all those questions, we know the chances are, if we go to the next stage of assessing the child, we're going to find things that explain some of those underlying difficulties. So the questionnaire is followed up with an initial consultation, which takes an hour, where we go through that developmental history in detail, plus anything that may have been offered so far, any other assessments that might have been done, has an educational psychologist's report been done, and so on. And on the basis of all that information, we then discuss, is this going to be a useful thing for you and your child to do? And I also spend quite a lot of time talking about the bad news, not just the good news. So the bad news, this is not a quick fix miracle solution. We reckon on taking usually an average of about 12 months from the time of starting the programme to completing it. And during that time, you and your child are going to have to do those exercises every single day without fail. It's like learning to clean your teeth. You may not want to do it, but it needs to be done, because it works on the basis of 3 things: regularity every day, repetition, doing the same thing every day, and duration, doing that repetition long enough, not just to get better at doing the exercise, anyone can do that, but at modifying the neural pathways that underpin those movements and the changes they're going to make. So length of time, parental involvement every day. The exercises are boring, and your child is going to think of 3,021 reasons why they should not do them, but they still need to do them for it to work. And at the end of the day, I can never, at the point of the initial, promise that all the problems your child has come to me with will be resolved. If we go to the next stage of doing an assessment, it will be because I'm confident that we can help, that we can explain some of the underlying mechanisms, we can suggest strategies that will help, and that the exercise programme will make a significant improvement. And some children it is miraculous. Some children it helps a lot, and some children it helps enough. So it's impossible to start off promising miracles. But if you decide to go ahead, then the next stage will be a approximately 2-hour assessment where all those tests are carried out for gross muscle coordination, balance, reflexes and so on. And at that same visit, your child will be given the first exercise or exercises to go away with and start doing at home. That's then followed up at 8 weekly intervals by what's called a review, where we redo some of the tests that we did at the first assessment, and we are looking for change in scores, so that if a child scores 4 on a test at the outset, that shows there's 100% dysfunction on that particular test. And we're looking for those individual scores to gradually come down every 2 months until at the end of the year, we've maybe not got a complete profile of zeros, but we have 1 or less than 1, which should enable them to function at a much higher level in all sorts of motor-related skills.